Let's get started, everyone. Thank you so much for coming along today. It's really exciting to have you all here. This is our second Meet the Maker. Our first was with Jackie, who's here today. And yeah, today we're having a chat with Vera. Thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
It's so lovely to have you here. I think we'll just start from the start, and we'll find out how did you get into knitting, and where did you learn, who did you learn from, and why do you love it?
So I started knitting probably age 10, 12, something like that. My mom was a knitter and she taught me, and everyone else was knitting. My sisters was knitting, friends would come over and they would knit. So knitting was definitely something everyone did. And we all knitted continental. We didn't know there was a different way. And then first things I knitted were headbands, like, cast on 10 stitches and do just garter stitch, just knit. And then at the end, tie them together. And I thought that was amazing. You can make something so easily. And then I said, okay, if I do it wider, it's going to be a scarf. So then did a scarf and I was hooked. It was something that you could do and wear, and yeah,
nice.
It was so fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I had not seen the English wear until I came here. I was like, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, I guess it probably, did it feel slow to you?
Not slow, but like more movements.
Yeah.
Like my friend Debbie, who was here, would show me something and would go like, oh, what do I do here? And I'm like, I have no idea what you do there. What on earth are you doing? She's like, oh, this is a pearl stitch. I'm like, okay.
That's so funny.
It looks so different.
That's so lovely.
It looks very different.
Yeah. And then what made you fall in love with knitting? Was it the being able to make things for yourself? Was it the designing? Was it what you were learning from people that were teaching you?
I think it was making things. I grew up in Romania, and it was not doing so well in the 80s, 90s. It was communist, so you didn't have a lot of places to buy clothes. Yeah. So to be able to make something nice was a bonus. And then yarn also got recycled quite a lot. So my mom would have made a cardigan for me when I was little, and then when I grew out of it, she unpicked it all and made it bigger.
Fantastic.
We kept on doing this, and I think it was the fact that you could make things to wear, and designing came from the fact that we didn't have patterns that were written for all sizes for any yarn. The only thing we had were these German magazines, Verena. Do you remember Verena? Verena was big in the European people remember Verena. Okay. It was really big. It was a lot, like in one magazine you have 30 designs, and it came out every month. So a lot of inspiration, but they only had 2 sizes usually. You would get like, let's say 10 to 12, and another pattern would be 14 to 16, and the instructions would be a paragraph this size, would say, cast on, work body, follow chart, bind off, sew buttons. And that would be, okay. They would give you the gauge, which was only a guide, because we didn't have the yarn that they recommended. This was, we had whatever yarn we had, and the magazine was from Germany somewhere. So Mom immediately said, don't look at the stitches, how many stitches. This is how you do it. You get your gauge, you do your little swatch. So from the beginning it was designing. Yeah. So you would use a chart that you like. You see the chart, or very often they had schematics. So schematics were very helpful, because you could see, if it's a satin sleeve, how big is the depth that you need to get. And it was all, here's the yarn, here's the needles, have some fun.
Yeah, be inventive, work it out.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way to learn.
I think it's much more, older people knit like that still. The younger people who start knitting now get everything fed in from zero. This is where I'm a little bit passionate, okay? So I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I think these patterns that are 30 pages long and give you every single thing that you do are almost like Google Maps, like you put on Siri and she tells you where to go. You have no idea what you did. Yeah. You just went dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Whereas if you learn to knit sort of intuitive, it's just like you learn to drive somewhere. There's that church, I turn right, the park, I turn left. With knitting is like you get to the you know, it's obvious you need to make some holes. So it is an advantage. People can knit more difficult stuff sooner, but I'm not sure they really learn anything except small things. They don't get the big picture. Yeah. So whenever I think of this, I think people should start with simpler things, you know. If you want to learn to do cables, do a scarf. So you don't have to worry about shaping necklines, anything. Just do cables in a plain scarf, and then you understand what's going on. If you want to do a garment, start with the simplest dropped shoulder, no shaping whatsoever, because it's basically rectangles with some tubes, and then you see what happens, and maybe put just something simple in the middle.
Step it up, yeah,
and
every
step it
time.
up.
Yeah.
And you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
My first jumper I did from one of these German magazines. I didn't know that I was a loose knitter. Okay, my gauge is very loose, so I did a beautiful cable thing, and I didn't block it. I just wore it, and then when I washed it the first time, it went to my knees because it ended up being the gauge sleeves to here. Yeah. And Mom was like, "Oh, what'd you do that?" I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought
what a way to learn,
fine.
though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you make a note, and then you remember next time. But yeah, I think it's an advantage that we have all these videos, but also in a way, it makes the progress of the knitter a bit slower.
I think that applies to, I think you're right with the Google Maps. I think it applies to many things in life these days, isn't it? Yes. But some people just want to get there, so that's fine. But some people actually do want to learn the steps. So there's, works differently for different people.
Yes.
Yeah. What type of garments were you knitting back in those days? Like, was top down?
No, top down didn't exist. Everything was in pieces and sewn.
Yeah.
Yeah, like old fashioned. Yeah, all these seamless things seems to have happened in the last 20 years, 25 years.
Which meant you had a really good understanding of pattern pieces and pattern making. And
yes. And learned, you know, like how to seam something, which people seem to avoid like the plague now.
So with Vera Loves Knitting, how long have you actually been designing?
So I have been designing forever. I think I've knitted 2 or 3 patterns that were not my own. I always look at photos and go like, I know how that is done. So it was COVID 2020, and I had just made a blanket, and I finished it, and I was really happy with it. It was in Rowan felted tweed, and it's still in very good shape, I can tell you. It's very good yarn. And I went to my optometrist, and she said, "Oh, you know, you're going to need glasses with bifocals." And I was like, "Oh, is this why I can't knit anymore? I can't really see with my normal glasses." And she was like, "Oh, you're a knitter." So, you know, glasses were put aside for 10 minutes. We talked about knitting. And she was like, "What did you knit recently?" So I showed her the blanket. And she wanted to do the same thing. And I said, "Listen, there's a book, Nora Gone, cables, buy the book, and you put the cables on the blanket." She says, "Fine." And then 2 weeks later, she gets in touch. She says, I can't do it. I don't know. What do you mean, repeat? How do you calculate how many stitches? And then I thought, actually, there's a lot that goes into a pattern that I didn't think about.
You take for granted.
Yes, I thought, if I give you the yarn and the charts, what else do you need? Yeah. And so then I thought, maybe I should try and write patterns. But the problem was, because I never followed patterns, I didn't know how do you write them, what do you put in them. So my first patterns were definitely a very steep curve of learning. There's a lot of making what you do, and to know the words for what you do. That's
because you've got to get into every little detail.
Yes.
You've got to make it very clear. Yeah.
So my first pattern, when I sent it to someone, they were like, "Oh, you need a tech editor, darling." And I'm like, "Okay, is it that bad?" It didn't read easily, and slowly I think I'm getting better. Okay. So this is 4 years now.
Fantastic. I'm sure you're getting better.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure you're getting better. Whenever you are designing and you're about to design, what inspires you, or what's your process? Do you start off by thinking about something you want to wear for yourself, or do you find a stitch that you love, or is it a yarn that inspires you? How does it all start? I
think it's a combination of all three. So very often it starts with a yarn, And then the other thing is I see on the street even someone wearing a nice jumper, and I think, oh, that would be so good. How would I do that? So very
so you're
often
constantly getting
yes,
inspired.
Yes, and then of course, I look into my wardrobe and I think I need a long cardigan for this dress. What color? And also that's a good way to start. Very practical.
Yeah, no, I think I think it's easier, isn't it, whenever you can imagine yourself wearing it, like what the end use is. Yes. So you've been designing for 4 years now. Have you got a favorite out of all of your patterns?
I do have a couple of favorites. This one's one of my favorites, and it is in pieces and it's seamed, and I like it and I wear it a lot, and I know that people like it too. It's called a matchstick because it's got these little matchsticks here. I think I love them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you do a new one, does that then become your favorite? Does that replace all the other ones that you do?
I am very excited
your new
about the
baby?
latest one.
Yeah.
And like sometimes people, on Ravelry, they buy one of my old patterns and go like, oh, that one, okay. I'm a bit over that.
That's funny.
Yeah. But definitely, my latest is my favorite.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your latest.
Yes.
So it's very exciting that your latest is Segway, which we've got here in the adult and the kids version in Rowan Felted Suede. I love it. I love your designs because I feel like you've got a very considered approach, and I think you've got some really lovely details that make each one unique and special. This one I love because of the way everyone can make it unique to themselves, depending which colours they pick. You could pick a gazillion different colours and this garment would look different every time. But just the stripe placement on the front and the back is just lovely. Do you want to talk us through your design process and your ideas for this and where it came from?
Yeah, so I did a little swatch. So my idea was if I turn it this way, let's do this one backwards.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, so in here what happens is you carry the yarn this way and then you carry this one this way. So you get an effect of stripes that end in a different place just by carrying the yarn. So I did a little swatch. Just this idea was what started me. 2 contrasting colors and getting the stripes to be uneven. So that was the first idea. I don't mind stockinette stitch, but something has to happen. Otherwise, it feels like you're in the desert and there's no trees, there's nothing. You just keep on going. It doesn't seem to grow at all.
Yeah.
You know that feeling?
Yeah.
So by having colors and stripes, then something happens all the time. You did 8 rows, then you reward yourself with changing colors, and you go across on the other side. So
You've got little goals to get to every time.
Little goals.
Keep going.
Yes.
Just get to the next goal.
Yes, a bit of interest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked that combination with the tweed and the black. So yeah, I thought a cardigan, because the beauty of it is you're not going to have too many ends. I like stripes, but I hate having all those ends. Every 4 rows you have ends to weave in. So with this method, you just keep on. So you carry one vertically, and the other ones just happen. So the ends are no more than in a normal one color cardigan. So the whole thing is what I design is what I want to knit. I don't want to knit anything boring. No offense, but I don't like brioche, for example.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what do you not like? Okay,
yeah.
So there'll be no brioche from you, okay?
No,
yep.
No, I want to have fun. If it's too complicated, it's not fun. If it's too simple, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So it has to be exactly the right balance of a bit of challenge, but not too much, because then, it's tiring and it becomes work. And then it has to be wearable. So there's sometimes you see this almost like art knitwear, and I go like, wow, that's art. But would I wear that? I don't think I can wear that.
Yeah.
So
I think all your pieces are very wearable. I think that's what's lovely about them. They are. And I think I really like this one over here, especially in the creative linen. Like any color will just look beautiful in that. Yeah.
And a lot of yarns, you can hold things together. You can change it. My other sample is done holding 3 very, very fine yarns together, and one of them gives it a bit of a marled look. So you can be, and again, something happens. You're not stuck.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like something to happen. And the little kids versions are so cute. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my first time doing kids, and I use this. There's all these numbers that can help you grade for, you know, if you don't have little children to measure them for every size. And I was really having a problem with the length of the sleeve. So I asked for help on Instagram, and I asked anyone has kids size 2 to 8, can you please measure? And I gave them measurements, and it was wonderful. Like, the community gave me such good feedback.
Yeah.
So now I think they fit. Yeah, there were some really weird sleeve lengths, and I was like, if I do something, I want to have
Especially
the right.
with the drop as well. You've
Yeah.
got to take that into.
The advantage is that you start the sleeve from the shoulder, so then you can make it as long, you know, like you have your kids.
Yeah, if you
your
have the kid
grandchild.
handy. Yeah.
Yes. But still, I didn't want to have some weird numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope the numbers are good, and if they are, I
Yeah.
would do it again because it's so fast.
Would you say you're an impulse buyer then when it comes to yarn?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
do.
how many bags are you bringing to Bendigo
Oh, listen, I hope I'll be busy enough
that you won't be shopping?
that I won't be shopping. Like last year, I did very well. I only maybe a kilo altogether.
Okay.
Very decent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but I am an impulse buyer, and sometimes it's good. Like I buy something and then I become obsessed with that fiber, and something happens with it. So it's not that bad. Except maybe have a plan.
Okay. Good. Okay.
You know,
okay. Right.
like if you buy 8 ply, don't buy just a random amount. Have a plan. Say, or maybe a scarf. So then I buy this much.
So then
or
you
if it's a
actually
jumper,
use it. Yeah.
buy a jumper quantity.
Yeah.
Don't buy like 15 individual skeins of different random yarns, just because they're all pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very good advice.
Is that what you do? No.
I'd love to just go back a little bit. Sorry, I meant to ask whenever we were on the whole designing bit, how long does it normally take you from start to finish to, you know, design one of your patterns?
I would say altogether to releasing, well, probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Yes, because very often I start and I make a sample and then I think, oh, I could have done that differently. I could have, so there's never only one sample. Quite often there's about 3 samples, and then the third one I'm happy with, and I've decided what yarn. And so I start very often with yarn that's been discontinued because I know it's not going to be the final. So some strange thing from my stash. Then after doing 2 samples, I start writing it. So I make like a spreadsheet. I put all the numbers. I've decided this is the gauge. So I'm doing some calculations on my size. Then when I find a yarn that I love and it's going to be the final one, I start doing all the other numbers, the length of sleeve coming from the row gauge and everything. And then I grade it. Once I'm happy, I washed it. So this probably is like 3-4 months in. I wash it. I'm happy it's all staying the same gauge and the same length, and it hasn't moved. Then I send it to a tech editor. Then I ask for testers, and usually for a garment about 10 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks for a garment, because you can't rush people. People have jobs. You know, they're volunteer their time. I'm not going to tell them, oh, it has to be done in 2 weeks. So you have to really think ahead. And I used to make, like in the beginning, very often I would release a jumper in February because that's when I finished it. And you know, my testers have been waiting all through Christmas in this alpaca wool, and we're like, Vera, can you maybe time it better?
Yeah. That's
so
funny.
I'm trying now to think, like now I should start with some summer stuff. So by September, when it's ready for testing, people are in the mood to knit something in cotton for summer. So I'm trying to be more organized. Yes. But 6 months definitely.
Yeah. I think that's something Australian designers really have to bear in mind compared to, you know, other international designers. It's hot here. It's hot. And we all still love to knit, but it's, you know, it's very hard to knit those heavier garments in summertime.
Yeah, they don't attract you. You look at them and you go like, oh, this, no, thank you.
I know. You want to wear your
cotton.
knitwear, don't you? You want it to,
Yeah, and also how it feels in your
Yeah.
lap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We won't judge you, but how big is your yarn stash?
Oh dear. Okay. Well, funny you should ask. Yesterday I was going through it and I was going like, no, you never. So I've just made a bag.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take it to knitting group tomorrow. I've
Okay.
been meeting, some of my knitting group is here.
So you've done a
And
clean out.
A little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and there will be more. How big is it? I probably could knit for 3 years solid without buying any yarn.
Yeah.
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 And that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy more yarn.
No, of course not.
So it's big.
Yeah.
I've heard people have bigger stashes.
I
don't
know.
think
I've
mine's
heard
the
of some
worst.
crazy big ones.
Yeah.
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 There's probably, in 4-ply, 8-ply, 5-ply, a bit like 3 sweater quantities in each.
Okay.
And some odd
It's not
ones.
too bad.
It's not too bad.
I mean, you've got to cover your plies and cover your fibers and
Yeah,
then
and
have
the
your
colours
quantities.
maybe.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's totally fine.
Yeah.
How much, obviously a lot of work goes into designing and making, are you ever knitting for yourself? Just
Yes,
for fun?
Definitely.
You are? Okay.
I'm still knitting
Yeah.
for myself for
Fantastic.
fun. Yes.
How much knitting are you doing every day?
Oh, this is the more embarrassing question than the stash. At the moment, I've been off work. I haven't worked as much. Like I'm a musician, so I didn't do as much teaching. So I have been knitting probably about 4 hours a day. I did injure myself knitting a couple of years ago.
Right.
I didn't stretch at all. So I injured the muscle here, and then I couldn't knit for 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
That was tragic.
Yeah.
So yeah, be careful when you knit. Always stretch some of this, some of this. Yeah, every half an hour. Now I've learned. So you can do too much of the thing.
Yeah, wow.
And the physio laughed really hard when I said how I did it. She thought that's ridiculous, but she didn't say
No,
it.
and I've heard about it. I've heard about people getting sore necks and
Yes.
backs and shoulders
Yes.
and everything,
Yeah, you have to be careful.
It's quite a dangerous hobby. And then, so you're knitting for fun and you're designing. How many projects do you have on the go generally?
3, I think 3.
Okay.
Yes, and I don't. If something doesn't go well, I very often just unpick it. Yeah, I don't let them stay in whip stage.
Yeah.
It's obvious I'm not getting any joy,
Yeah.
so just there's no
Oh, I
point.
like that. I like that
Yes.
decisive
Yes.
action.
Yes.
Okay, I've got to get more of that. I'll just bundle you up, put you over there in the corner, and I'll just pretend you're not there. And then I'll go do
Yes.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's all those memes with the whips. Then
Yeah.
us getting excited about the new cast on.
Yeah. And so what about design-wise? Do you have multiple design projects that you're working on, or do you work on one at a time and finish that and move on to the next one?
I think also 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes you just need to sit on something for a bit. Like you think, oh, I'm stuck. I really don't know what to do about this design, this detail, and then it's best to give it a rest.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm so unhappy that I want to unpick it, and I go like, no, it's probably okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't unpick it immediately. Just leave it for a bit and think about it. So it's good to have distractions. So
Yeah.
I would say 2 or 3
Yeah.
at the same time. Yeah.
So do you have anything new that you're working on at the minute that you could give us a sneak peek or
Yes.
tell us what's
So
happening?
after all this stockinette stitch, and also long paddock wasn't really complicated, I felt like I need some cables in my life. So we can show this. This is the swatch I did. This was a cable in a very old. Lots of people have seen this. Everyone has this photo and they go like, oh, someone should design that. It's a cable thing that has like patches. So this one goes in the middle, and then there's some moss stitch, and it's like a combination, like patchwork of cables.
Yeah.
And this is the one that was in the middle, and I've always loved it. So I thought
Very
I could go this
Very
way, and
nice.
then this can happen here. So it would go again in an angle. So it looks like a fence. So I'm thinking I'm going to call it fences if nothing else comes. So I'm going to do a bigger gauge. This is more like a 5-ply, and I'm going to go towards a 10-ply because this really pops when you get a plump yarn.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
It's going to look cool. So
Yeah.
that's what's on my needles right now.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
I love a good cables. Can't wait to see that one. It's really
Oh,
good.
cables are fun.
Yeah, cables are really fun. Do you feel like there is a connection between, because I know also Jackie is also a musician.
We were talking about that.
Is there a connection, do you think, about loving music, playing music, understanding how music is written, and then knitting? And the making of knitting and the designing? I feel like there could be something there.
Definitely. And I think the most relatable thing is when we play music, you get into this flow state, exactly like knitting. So you don't look at the time anymore. You're just like, oh, let's just play one more movement, you know. And then 2 hours later, you're still playing and you're not tired. Yeah. And you don't want to put it down.
You're in it.
Yes. So the flow is definitely that something that musicians experience when you play something that you love. You're, you know, in a piece that you absolutely want to do it again and again and again, and you don't get tired. And it's the same. Yeah, it's the flow that many people have talked about. And
you also have to get yourself to a certain level before you get into that flow, right? There's years of work that go into learning and understanding and being able to sort of play it the way that you want to play it. I feel like there's sort of an affinity with that and with knitting
there
as well.
There would be the skill, definitely.
Yeah, the skill
and
level.
Feeling proud of what you've achieved, like you're better now than you used to be, definitely.
Yeah.
And also the challenges as a musician, you know, some pieces are much harder to play and you feel like, you know, you're almost doing brioche. Some composers.
I love this,
They write, you know what I mean? Like some composers. Yeah. And you're like, can someone give me a break? I've had enough of this. I just want some stockinette next.
Which is your... Maybe we could do that.
I think the word might be resonance.
Yes, that's true.
When
you resonate with something. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's me at the end of the list of my questions.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. That was so wonderful, and it was really just great to get an insight into your process and what you're doing and why you do what you do. But we're just going to throw the floor open to you guys to ask any questions that you might have.
Question, but I don't get a lot of questions to me. So unfortunately, I've bought some of your patterns, but I just don't have time to make. But what I love, so it's more of an observation, is the geometry. Like I love your line, like I love stripes, but I love like just looking at all of them together and what you're wearing.
Yes.
Your use of texture and as we were saying earlier, like it's simple but just adds a little bit of excitement to the knitter, but also visually, like it's very clever.
Thank you.
I really do love your designs.
Thank you so much. I love yours too, because you're exactly the opposite of what I do. You're all
I'm very
pretty colors.
You're quite free and just
So you talk about how you plan and how you structure things, and like it takes me about 6 months to design as well, but I'm nowhere near as organised as you. Like it's really, I bet it shows in what you produce. I think I love what you do.
Thank you.
But isn't there a place for all of it? That's the wonderful thing.
Yes.
It's like everybody's design process is going to be very different, and that's why it's so lovely to hear like how one person does things versus another person, and the result sort of just shows in the result. So good. Yeah, I think you're right, Jackie. I like that. You've got a precision to your placement, which is just really nice.
I do watch fashion shows, and you know, like it's not just me. I copy a lot.
You get inspired. It's inspiration.
I got inspired. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's inspiration.
Yes, fashion is there for. This is the other thing that's similar to in music. You know, like everything has been done before. Everything has been written before.
Yeah.
And you just
you're just changing it.
Yes, you can't really revolutionize. What else could you do? It's just knit and purl.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Take notes of your
Yes.
Yeah. And what does the tech editor do compared to the Tesla?
The editor?
The tech editor.
Oh, very important. They check all the maths.
So how do they know that the maths is correct before the Tesla?
So basically, you know how I said I have a spreadsheet? Yeah. They do their own spreadsheet backwards. So they read the pattern and they create a spreadsheet from the pattern. Right. And then they make sure all the maths add up. Like what I said it's going to measure is the same as how many stitches per centimeter.
going off
going off the
gauge.
pattern,
Yeah.
not what I
Right.
wanted. Yeah, so mine is the ideal world, and they check that it's matching the real world. And
Fascinating.
also the grammar, like all the wording has to sound, make sure that all the abbreviations are in and they're accounted
that it
for.
makes sense and everything's
Yes.
included. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. It's such, and it's tedious work because you have to do a lot of knitting in your head. Basically, you just go, oh, what does she say? Now she's talking about the right shoulder, and it's top down, so that's going to be there, and a lot of knitting in your head, which is quite tricky.
Yeah, yeah.
I
very
find it hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still want to do it, and then
Yeah.
go like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not easy at
Yeah.
all.
It's a skill as well, I guess. They've been doing it a long time, and they've
Yeah, and it's good.
Yeah.
People usually who are like trained in computers or maths or
They have to have that type of brain.
accounting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I was so worried I would be here with Lorraine and no one else.
We would still have a good time.
Oh yeah,
It was-
true.
I'm going to come around and see what everyone's knitting.
Yes.
Yeah.